So I think Martech roles have always been unpredictable in a sense. There's this never-ending debate between should I focus more on the technical side of marketing or build out my business acumen? And you kind of need both to thrive in a Martech role. You can't have one or the other. But with AI, there's even more of an advanced discussion here. Should I get closer to humans and collaboration and navigating politics within my company, or do I dive deeper into protocols and the tech and the data? And I think there's a path for both of those things, and that's something that's really interesting to kind of explore and a question that you should be asking yourself. In terms of roles, there's a bunch that we're seeing come out, maybe less as new job titles, but we're seeing folks pick up different, job items or tasks within like the role of marketer or marketing ops team, depending on how big the company is. But on the technical side, we're seeing folks that are wearing this hat of like a resident AI implementation specialist. Like they're taking on the task of looking at people doing manual stuff and thinking, what are you doing? There's no reason to be doing this manually anymore. And so they're doing like the research and they're suggesting and implementing and maybe training other folks in the company on this. And there's the more technical side of this is like a light marketing data engineer, if you will, like someone that focuses is on the API services, gets closer into data management and cares about governance. On the business side, kind of on the other side of this, like there's a whole box of change management and collaboration, navigating politics. AI is going to have a really hard time to do. You think of a big Martech stack migration. AI is not going to come in and hold your hand and do all the people managements and the training and the RFP. There's a ton of stuff that's still super manual and requires empathy and collaboration. And there's a whole other type of roles right now that already exist that I think are close to customers in a sense, like require human connection of product marketers, lifecycle marketers, community builders, like all of those folks work with empathy and they chat with customers. At the end of the day, they're really well positioned, in my opinion, in the next couple of years because like they're coming up with ideas that require understanding the customer. And even though LLMs are trained on like tons of data, like LLMs aren't talking to your specific customer, your contacts, and like the day to day that they're living in real time. And
It's definitely a dynamic time in terms of how the organizations are unfolding, and in some ways very logical and explainable, and others are very surprising. A couple of nuances that are worth pointing out. This is probably the first and only major shift that has actually been initiated by, and consumers are running ahead much faster, right? It is consumers had this ChatGPT moment and are really demanding and embracing AI in a way that's very unusual. So we're in uncharted territories on that front. I'm an unapologetic fan of going narrow and deep. In other words, picking one part or one end-to-end loop as opposed to looking at a dashboard with 700 things. That's where I think the teams will break through and really start to see and pick up the benefits of artificial intelligence and machine learning and reinforcement learning to start to move the needle, whether it's growth efficiency or top line growth itself. I think that the best teams that are really in and around AI are going to lean into a world where it's going to be more outcome oriented. I do see a different shift in a business model where it will be more results as a service as opposed to just seats or software as a service.